Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this training, and thanks for those of you who are watching this after this is being recorded. My name is Melissa Wenzel, and I'm co-leading the e-bike experience exhibit at the Minnesota State Fair. So joining me today is Lexi Lang. Lexi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Lexi Lang. I'm the EV program administrator here at the MPCA. I started in January and I was lucky enough to join Melissa on this e-bike journey. I'm a big bike fan and I actually just biked 3 days of RAGBRAI, the bike across Iowa. So it's pretty awesome.
That is amazing. I volunteer with somebody who's got those experiences and just, yeah, it sounds just amazing. I
Oh,
applaud you as well.
it's a party. It's a really, really cool experience.
Neat. Well, I've owned an e-bike since 2008. I don't ride across Iowa, but I certainly do my part. And it's been just so much fun to develop this exhibit. We just started doing it 3 years ago as the state of Minnesota, and it's a great honor to be able to co-lead this activity this year and presumably in future years. And we have opportunities where people can take pictures of themselves. I'm not sure who at our agency took this picture, but they're obviously having a blast and going really fast in a stationary way. So, diving into the training, it dawned on me right when I was starting this presentation that maybe I should have had the map of the state fair so people could find the Eco Experience building. It is on the north end of the state fair, and there's a big, tall wind turbine blade right in front. So it is a landmark that you can see from a few blocks away. So, um, except for those of you who actually are e-bike experts, the people that are bike shop owners and managers, the rest of you, you don't have to know everything about e-bikes. I don't, and I've had an e-bike for a long time. And sometimes it's kind of thought about that you're not going to have a lot of time to chat with folks, but our exhibit is a little different. People actually will stay for, 2 to 5 minutes, partly because we have bikes that people can touch. We'll probably have a couple bikes on trainers, meaning that people can hop onto the bike and pedal it and watch that wheel go and hear the motor engage and things like that. They're not going anywhere, but they get the sense of what the motor can actually do for their e-bike. And if you need to start a conversation, just simply ask if they've ever, been on an e-bike before. Do they know somebody with an e-bike? Pretty easy questions that'll get answers going pretty fast. So we will have some e-bike shop owners being volunteers at the exhibit as well. So you can certainly lean on them for the tough questions. Any question they have that nobody can answer, that happens at every single exhibit in this building. So at the info booth, there is a notepad where people actually write down questions and get the experts to answer them after the fair is over. So even folks that might be stumped about a question, who've heard every single e-bike question, we still have resources to help folks later. And speaking of which, we do want you to sign into the info booth when you are first starting your shift. You don't have to sign out per se, but every single shift, every single person should start at the info booth before going to the e-bikes exhibit. So we're going to have a couple resources available. So first, we're going to have this Minnesota Bike Hike Guide. We have Fun Biking, who actually is kind of co-managing this particular opportunity, this exhibit with folks. And so they have a great bike guide that brings things down to on a map level, kind of like a city-specific map guide and resources available within that community. So this is also the organization that's giving away an e-bike. So they've been a wonderful partner for all 3 years that we've been doing this exhibit. I badly mocked up a screen to make it look like this is a computer that we'll have. We will have a computer where people can look up resources. It will be, again, Have Fun Biking. That is the landing page that has a link to all of the organizations represented at this exhibit, plus some basic information about the e-bike rebate and signing up to win an e-bike, that kind of stuff. So very excited to have a touch screen this year where people can explore just the resources that we have within this exhibit. So that's to say that they can't go out of this particular topic and search anything. It is a fixed website with links on it. So that'll control some of the bad apples out there. The goal for this particular exhibit, I wanted to have the theme of accessibility. So we're going to have trikes, we're going to have more cargo bikes and things like that, where people can start to really see themselves in whatever physical capabilities that they have to be able to vision themselves on a bike. The one thing I was really hoping to get for an e-bike that didn't pan out is I've seen a particular bike, specific bike that actually is a tandem bike, but it's side by side instead of front to back. And I did reach out and tried to get a hold of the owner of one company locally that makes and sells those bikes, but didn't ever hear back and kind of got a mailboxes full sort of message. So maybe next year. So we will have 10 bikes on display. And again, a couple of them will be opportunities for people to hop on and pretend that they're biking somewhere. Some of them will bring back that sort of bucket cargo bike where people can sit in and somebody sits behind. So that's been a really good selfie station photo opportunity. So we're bringing that back. And we'll have signage, not only for every single bike, but also for the top kind of questions people get when they're asking someone else about which kind of e-bike is right for them. And as the EV coordinator, Lexi, I'm sure you probably don't get to focus on e-bikes, but it is, as we know, the most common type of EV in the US, based on sales at least. There's one company that we're also going to be featuring that doesn't sell bikes, but they fix bikes and they fix e-bikes. And there's supposed to be a logo here. I'm not sure what happened there. But VeloFix is a national company with local locations where they mobilely go to people who need their bike fixed. And it is an awesome opportunity. I've been a customer before, and just being able to have somebody come to you. I'm car free. So me bringing a bike somewhere, if it needs servicing particularly, is difficult. Now, the kind of servicing I usually need is something maybe as basic as a flat tire fixed, and if it's on the back, the rear wheel, that's where the motor is, and so that it gets a little tricky to be able to service myself. I can do it, but it isn't easy, and I know that they can do it a lot faster, especially when they have a stand to put the bike on. So I've gotten a full tune-up from them as well. I'm not promoting me or my services that I've had, but it is a service that can be provided. And if more and more people are buying e-bikes, particularly to replace a vehicle, a four-wheeled or more wheeled vehicle in their household, they may benefit from knowing about this particular opportunity. And anyone who would like to can benefit from the 15% discount. So we had to get that approved through our management and the state fair and all that. So that's a nice bonus for anybody. And of course, they don't just service e-bikes. That'd be kind of cool, but they service all types of bikes. And even though the grant opportunity, the rebate opportunity has closed for this year for the most part, if there are people who haven't used their e-bike rebate, there will be a small window of opportunity this October for folks to possibly get a rebate. But the rebate program was fairly successful. The applications filled up in minutes once it was working, I should say. But over 60,000 people were on the website at once at one point during that period of time. So there's definitely a demand for funding for e-bikes. And everything that went on this year, minus the hiccup at the first time of the application, it's all repeating next year. There is funding again. It was a 2-year funding opportunity, so more funding will be available next year, and people can sign up to get information through a QR code that we actually do have made up earlier this week. So that'll be something that a lot of people will have questions on. So I went actually to the Department of Revenue and asked them, what would you like us to say regarding the rebate program? So got information straight from them. And here's the cool bike being given away. It literally is this bike, or, well, okay, fine. This is an image of a bike, similar, but same color, same size, that kind of thing. So this Avenue electric bike is from Pedigo, and people can enter. No need to pay for anything to enter this particular contest. So great opportunity to check out a bike that we hope this one will be on a trainer. We had it on a trainer last year, the one that was being given away, and it was obviously a lot more fun where people could daydream about them actually riding this particular bike if they won. Might be hard to see a lot of words on the slide, but we actually do create signage for every single bike with these details on it, and we've done this every year so far from the past 2 years, and it gives us a chance to standardize the look of the information while making it clear that people can find these bikes in the community and from the vendors that are having their bikes on display. So I was asked to provide a make and model, a short description that hopefully does jive with the bike companies, range from what I found on the website, top speed from the website, and prices from the website. So people definitely want to know if they see a bike, they like it, they want to know more about it, and where to get it. So there's that for folks. Uh, just editing this slide right before we started today, but there are 2 shifts still available, which is amazing because we have 46 shifts filled, and that happened in a little over a week. So you all are so awesome to have done that, to have filled so many shifts. I did not anticipate that to happen as fast. So thank you. Thank you so much. But if you are interested in either of those shifts, reminder that you get 2 tickets to get into the state fair for 1 shift because that is a weekend or Labor Day. So thanks in advance if you're interested in signing up. For folks that have been to the eco experience before, you're familiar with the fact that we do have a bingo opportunity where people can go around to various stations, learn really cool things, and then get a prize. And this year, the prize is a Monarch lapel pin. The e-bike area is not a bingo stop. I actually specifically request that we're not because we actually do talk with the people that are stopping by on a regular basis and at lengthy conversations. We don't have time to also spew out some sort of interesting fact and stamp a book or piece of paper. So I just wanted to let you know that if people do ask you, are you a bingo stop? They are very clearly labeled with the earth in this orange banner. My cat is stepping on my keyboard. My apologies. Um, and people can go to the bingo stops that are near us, but we won't have to be one ourselves. So I wanted to include some photos, particularly because there's a few of you that are new that maybe didn't attend or go to the eco experience in past years and haven't seen what the exhibits look like. So some of these photos, screenshots and things like that are this one's from 2022. And it looks a little busy because we were in a very cramped area. So we had a signage in front of signage and then bikes in front of signs. We've been able to kind of manage the information and signage a little bit better. And that first year we had the bike where people could hop in front and ride in the back, so to speak. And even without a backdrop, it was still a pretty cool selfie station or photo opportunity. We kind of moved things around during that particular year at the state fair, so we were able to, try to display things a little bit better, but still kind of a glut of signs everywhere, which people appreciate. So in 2023, we were able to be in the center of the building, which I was thinking was going to be totally awesome, but then when we have signage and banners, then it was kind of hard to figure out where to place them, knowing that we had kind of a 360 view of our exhibits and people coming up from all sides. So there isn't a best formula for an exhibit, but people still loved it. I wish we could have this, green bike, blue person cutout that we hung from the ceiling. It doesn't work out every year because we're going to be moving to a new location, or rather kind of back to the old location. So in this photo on the right, you see the door open and you see sort of a red sort of post on the left. We'll be behind that post, so to speak. So we'll be able to have some fresh air from that door opportunity. And so that'll hopefully give folks a breeze, which sometimes is not so achievable in the center of the building. So in some ways, I think we're in a better spot this year. So that's what I wanted to cover. Just a reminder of the dates of the state fair. Lots of us cannot forget it. I am providing my personal cell phone, so please just use that judiciously. And again, we're just so grateful that you're willing to be a part of this exhibit. This is the first time that we're actually kind of having a standalone exhibit with training, with volunteers and all of that. And so to have these 48 shifts filled, that takes a lot. And to have all of you here is just an opportunity for us to really shine in something that we all really care about, giving people modes of transportation that fits their lifestyle, fits their desired outcomes, and works best for them. So thank you so much. Anybody have questions? You can either put them in chat, raise your hand through the raise hand symbol, or just take yourself off mute. And if you want to talk about my cat, that could work too.
Melissa, I have a quick one. It's Amy.
Hi, Amy. Sure.
Hi, thank you. This was great. And hi, Lexi. So Melissa and I had agreed that I could do a story about this for streets.mn. I'm volunteering on Labor Day. So I assume I will need to get people's permission to take their photo and let them know that it might be used.
I think that's more of a Streets MN sort of policy versus, I mean, because we take photos within the exhibit as demonstrated by the photos I took previously, and I would check in with a verbal.
Okay.
If their faces could be identified, or if I'm taking a picture straight on of them. So like of 2022, got permission not only from the family members standing off to the right of the picture screen, but also of the two individuals, and of course they were delighted. So I'll let that be up to you. Obviously, if you're taking pictures of volunteers or staff, I would request that you ask permission.
Okay. I'll work up a form. Our policy is we have to have permission for children.
Okay.
But generally adults are kind of considered fair game if they're in a public place. But I since this is at your exhibit, I feel like I should raise it.
Thank you. I personally don't have any issues. Again, we have photographers that work at the MPCA taking photos too. So you could check in at the front at the info booth to see if there's any specific policies.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, Dan writes a really good question. He says, I may have missed it, but how are the entry tickets distributed? Has anybody gotten emails yet from Kelly who says, here's your e-ticket to get into the state fair? So one MPCA employee. Dan did not, right? Anybody else not get an email? Okay. Okay, so Dan, if anybody else hasn't, feel free to catch me via email. Dan, I will be looking into that for you. So
thank you.
What it should, yeah, no problem. What it was is this is the first year that we're going e-ticket, and so it has I don't know if it's a barcode. I haven't looked at mine for a little while, but it has a code and it has information where this ticket can only be used once, that kind of thing. And so it's much easier for us to email it directly to people instead of we were literally mailing or hand delivering the tickets. So, okay, you got the email.
If it, just in case it went into like a spam folder, who is actually from?
Kelly. Her last name is Amoth. Oh, I think that's how you pronounce it. Amoth. Yep, and it's in print. Quinn Carr just put it into chat. Yeah.
Okay.
But I can look into it too. Other questions? Oh, I forgot to mention that if you want to get to the state fair, you can bike to, if you wish, you can bike to one of 3 bike corrals. So I've been doing this for at least 15 years based on photos I took and still have from 15 years ago. There is a bike corral at the north end of the state fair. So entering on Hoyt and Snelling, the bike corral is right away. Like you just turn into Hoyt and into the state fair, and it's right there on your right. And it's run by volunteers. It's caged in, and there's racks that you can lock your bike up to. And there's no charge. There's not even a tip jar or anything like that. So it's been a great opportunity. I feel like there's no better feeling than biking home from the state fair after working a 6-hour shift. So Otherwise, there are park and rides, there are shuttles, there is on-site parking that seems to take at least an hour to park on a busy opportunity, afternoon, evening, weekend. And it's not cheap, I don't believe. So if, just because you're interested in bikes doesn't mean you can bike to the fair. I totally get that. But if biking is your thing, I highly recommend it. And that North End Bike Corral is so close. It's like a 5 to 10 minute walk, depending on how many people are between the corral and the Eco Experience building, but it is pretty close to our building. So that's another bonus. Any other questions?
Hey, this is Quinn. I have one about batteries and if when they die. So I have like I have a couple of these batteries that have died, so I want to figure out how to sustainably get rid of them or what to do with them. So I don't know if that comes up to at the fair or people
It
have tips about that.
does, yes. So I was thinking I might share this information. So on the Have Fun Biking website, which I'm typing in, and then we'll share my screen in just a second. That is one of the sort of like 10 things to consider for buying an e-bike. And the list came from all the different questions that I have received over the years. Plus, I reached out to others with e-bikes to see what questions they have. I did this in 2022. And we tried to have evergreen information that wouldn't necessarily change from year to year for those sorts of questions. And battery recycling is certainly one of them. So, found the page. It's being updated for this year's e-bike exhibit and new photos and things like that. But for the helpful tips to consider before purchasing an e-bike, cost, Minnesota tax credit rebates, payment options, bike warranty, how to insure your bike, different types of e-bikes and gear options, what's the battery's range and life before recycling, and then it has information about recycling. Call2recycle.com has information. Call to recycle. And I actually tested it this week, and let's just say that there's no limit. There seems to be no limit of the number of bike shops that are at least in the Twin Cities where you can recycle your bike battery. My own zip code is 55102. And I think my biggest challenge is which bike shop would I choose? Probably the one that I bought my bike from, but just so that you know that there are definitely a lot of options. So, and then other weight limits and picking a bike that fits you, maintenance, options for having your bike repaired. Me from 10 years ago when we actually used to get snow and how to ride your bike in the rain or snow. Keeping your bike safe and secure, and then test riding bikes, other things to consider. So. Other questions? You all obviously know how to contact me outside of this training session, so if something comes up, let me know. If for some reason you can't make your shift, please let me know as soon as you can. If it's last minute, I get it. I understand, no problem. But the sooner the better. Well, great. Thanks everyone for your time today. This was great to hear those kind of questions. Dan, I'll follow up with you about your e-tickets. And for those that are viewing this online after the session, let me know if you have any questions. And again, my grateful thanks to all of you.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone.
Thanks a lot.